Hi, my name's Mark. I'm one of the pastors here at Trillium. One of the foods I most like to make is Cuban black bean soup. And one of the critical ingredients of the soup is jalapeno peppers. And I've gotten so familiar with making the soup that I handle the peppers with my bare hands, and I don't really worry about touching the seeds or that sort of thing. And one time I was actually making the soup, and I'd cut up the peppers and I was putting them into a garlic press because it gets out the juice into the soup, and somehow the juice squirted back from the garlic press underneath my glasses and into my one eye. And all of a sudden I'm freaking out, man, because it hurts like crazy, if you can imagine. And I take my glasses off and I start wiping my hands with the eyes to get the juice out. And of course, my hands are covered in jalapeno pepper juice. And it just made it worse. When I was making the soup, I was worrying about something in my life. When the juice got into my eyes, let me tell you, that worry just disappeared. I started to focus on whether I was ever going to be able to see again. I didn't know what was going to happen to my eyes. Had I done some permanent damage to them? Had some injury been done to my eyes? Would I ever be able to see again? And of course, after about 15 minutes, the pain started to recede a bit, and the eyes started to be able to see, and I realized I was going to be okay. But it got me thinking about the fact that I only seem to be able to handle one big worry at a time. I focus on one big worry, and then I move on to the next big worry when it's resolved, and I move on, and I have a sequence of worries that are going on in my life. And I notice people in general seem to be like that as well. It's almost as if worry is a disposition, an attitude, a kind of frame that we bring to life, to all the frailty and fragility we find ourselves in, our bodies' frailty and fragility, life's frailty and fragility, the contingent circumstances of life. And worry is one way we can respond to them, to the realities of this frail life that we have. But it's not the only way. And at some basic level, we're choosing to worry in dealing with that imagined future that hasn't even happened yet. On Sunday, we looked at a mantra from A Course in Miracles that goes like this: I choose the joy of God over pain. I choose the joy of God over pain. And this mantra has an understanding that treats joy and pain as a disposition, much like worry. It's an attitude, a frame that we bring to life. And see, the thing is that where most of us would agree that worry is something that we choose, I think many of us would balk at the idea that we would actually choose to have pain in our life. For instance, someone grabs your arm and you feel pain because of the pressure. And the way to get the pain to stop is to have the pressure released by the person letting go. Very simple cause and effect relationship. Pressure, pain, release, no pain. And I would suggest to you that for many of us, this idea that pain could be something that we would choose, or that we could choose joy over pain, is something that, as I say, many of us might balk at. But I got thinking about it for a bit. When my marriage broke up, I went through a lot of stress, a lot of pain, a lot of dis-ease in myself. And ultimately, I think I broke my body. My digestive system got broke by it. And I experienced a chronic pain for a number of years after that caused me incredible distress in my life. But I noticed that when I went to the movie theater and I really got into a movie, I really enjoyed watching the movie. It could be a thriller or it could be a comedy. After that couple hours, when I'd come out the theater, I realized I hadn't had any pain for a couple hours. The pain had disappeared on me. And when I got involved in social events that I really, really enjoyed, or I worked out and I really enjoyed the working out, that the pain would just go away. And it came to my understanding that pain is both pressure and attention. It's not just one or the other. You need to have pressure and you need to have attention. And if you disrupt one of those two, then there is no pain. And of course, if we can get released from the pressure, there's not going to be pain. But there's also a truth to the fact that when we don't give energy or attention to pain in our lives, we don't experience it in the same way. And there are many spiritual practices that we can get involved in that will help us temper giving attention over to pain. Because pain can be very obsessive in our life. And if you've ever had chronic pain, you know one of the great challenges is not to let that pain run your life, to ruin your life. Today I want to talk about the pressure, or the pressures, and how to get past those pressures. Because the truth is, many of the pressures that we experience in life that bring us pain are not real. They're the figment of our own imagination. Just like worry, they are creations of our own mind. I think about my marriage and all the stress I put my body through, myself through, They were all created by expectations of myself that were not ultimately real. I think about, for instance, the failed expectations I had, the guilt, the shame, the resentment, the rage that I felt at being betrayed, the deep rejection, the insecurity that I felt, the sense of abandonment. These were all constructs of my mind that ultimately brought great pressure onto my body, but weren't real at all. They weren't real. It was based on a misunderstanding of who I was and who walks with me in my life. There's a great line from A Course in Miracles that goes like this: God goes with me wherever I go, or God goes with you wherever you go. And I realized as I pondered this mantra that in fact I had lost connection with my Creator, that if I really understood the truth of what this was saying, that God goes with me wherever I go, and therefore I have nothing to worry about, and all the stresses and distresses are put aside because I know at a very deep level that I belong to my God this day, and that the Creator of the universe, walks with me and walks with you. And if we really knew that deep in our hearts, what would we ever be afraid of? And why would we ever give any attention over to pain? Of course, the mantra invites us to choose the joy of God over pain. We can do that by simply coming to the knowledge of who we are this day. And I invite you to do that with your life, with your mind, your energy. Stop putting attention into worry and into pain and in all the negative ways that we express ourselves. Instead, take ownership for your thinking and your feelings this day, and in a sense, invest them in the knowledge of who you are. Explore that truth in your life this day, and know ultimately that God goes with you wherever you go. There's no place in this life you can go without the Creator of the universe accompanying you. You're never alone. You're never by yourself ultimately. The Lord goes with you. And when we know that, choosing joy over pain is easy. It's very easy for us to do this day. And I pray for that knowledge in your hearts. Go in peace. Know and choose the joy of God for yourself.